Okay, so hear me out. Every year around June, July, I get the exact same urge. And it's gotten to the point where I now refer to it as a curse. Hello and welcome to a new video. So basically, I get this craving to make a sailor dress every single year. And it's such a weird thing because the entire year I don't think about sailor dresses at all. But then suddenly June, July comes around and I really feel the urge to just make a sailor dress. And this has been happening every single year since I started sewing. And every single year I end up hating the dress. So the first year I made this pink ensemble, I kept it for so long because I really loved it. But then every time I wore it, I just felt like it wasn't my color. And there was something off about the way I attached the sailor collar. Because I'm a self-taught seamstress, it took me a while to figure out how to attach a sailor collar properly. So all of these attempts kind of like, they were never perfect. They kind of looked fine, but for me, I knew where the flaws were. And you know, from my previous videos, that's always something like, even if it looks fine, if I know about it, it annoys me. And then the second year I made this green and beige ensemble, which I still feel like I absolutely love the colors of. So the green linen and this ecru colored cotton are actually two fabrics that I've been using all the time. I love them and I feel like I would love to recreate this exact same color scheme at some point. But I used a 1910s pattern for it because you never learn, right? It looks amazing on other people, so I'm like, surely it's gonna look great on me as well. But I just don't like it when there's bulk on the sides. So that was just an outfit for a photo, and the pictures were taken at the beach, and it was actually really nice, but yeah, I didn't wear it afterwards, so I sold it, as most things. I'm not sure whether I made this before the green one or after, but I made an autumn version. So that one, what was wrong with it? Probably the same. I think it was also a bit too bulgy up here and it generally was too big. So that one again looked really cute on pictures, but I also made it at like my peak of weighing quite a bit. So when I lost weight, it just got too big. So I ended up selling that as well. I made a sailor dress I kept that I really liked. Shocking. But the problem with that one is actually it's very low cut. So I used this really cute pattern, but the way it sits, I have to wear a blouse underneath. So it isn't really a dress, it's more of an ensemble. So I wear it more in an Edwardian way, and I actually recently wore it for an American Duchess collaboration, and I love that one, but I don't really wear it because it's more costumey. What else did I do? Oh, I actually made a sailor blouse earlier this year. I didn't like it either. I'm telling you, it's a curse. So yeah, it's that time of the year where we're trying again. So I've been spending a long time thinking about what I want for this year's sailor dress, because I feel like the sailor outfits are often more Edwardian, and I've been looking for a 1940s version of it, and I couldn't really find like a proper, that's not like an actual navy outfit, more like a cute little sailor dress for children rather than a military uniform. So I thought, why don't I just combine the two? Because I love the kind of like aesthetic of the Edwardian sailor promenade costumes. They're often too costumey, and if I made them floor length, and the pitch and breadth of it on other people, but just any bulk around the waist I don't like. And then there has been this kind of shape that I've been wanting to make for ages, and it's actually similar to the very popular strawberry dress. So the idea that you kind of almost have like a little under bust piece that is really tight, and then over the bust kind of like more of like a gathered shape. So I've seen this style of patterns on many times, and every single time I'm like, oh, I want to make this one day. So I'm thinking maybe today is the day. So I'm thinking we're gonna go for something that feels Edwardian, that kind of gives the lightness of an Edwardian day, but with the practicality of a 1940s dress. What do we think? So I'm going to use a circle skirt pattern, and I'm not going to make it too long. I'm just going to go kind of with my normal patterns, and I'm going to use my little normal sleeves that I love using, the one with the darts in here. I'm going to make it a half sleeve, but then we're going to just kind of fit it around the waist. I'm a bit nervous because the question is, like, I'm already like worried that this is gonna work out. Let's get going and work on that 2025 sailor dress. Good morning. It is the hottest day of the year so far. Yeah, not enjoying it, but at least this means we've got the perfect weather for our little summer project, and it's gonna get me in the summer mood, right? I am going to start cutting out my fabric. So I'm not going to mention what kind of fabric we're using for this, because you all know what fabrics we're using on this channel. It's a bedsheet. But I thought, because I've been always like being like, oh yeah, I'm using a bedsheet for this. It's just basic. Now we're not gonna make a big deal out of it. It is what it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna start cutting out my fabric and assembling everything. So I was thinking from the design I made that probably the bit here and the skirt is gonna have the stripes that way. Whereas the middle bit, I want the stripes to go away this way, just to, I don't know, bring some interest, even though I'm also a little bit worried I look like a clown in this. Because I did really like the fabric, but now that it's here, I'm a bit like, is it nice though? So this is what it looks like, and it is the kind of pink that I kind of think suits me well, but because of the white, it looks a little bit lighter, and I don't know, what do we think? But either way, I'm going to continue. We're going to see what it looks like when it's ready. I'm worried it's going to be a little bit busy, a little bit loud in all the stripes, but it might also be a complete win and just end up looking like, I don't know, a cotton candy beachside walk outfit. Yeah, I'm feeling like this is a little bit too cheerful for my current mood, because you probably saw my other video, we had the house rejected 2 days ago, so I'm a little bit meh. But nothing better to do than sewing a dress than to cheer up the spirit. With that, I'm going to go straight into sewing and cut everything out. Everything is cut out and all the fabric is prepped, and it is 12 noon, so I think I'm going to take a little lunch break and then we'll do the actual sewing afterwards. I am a huge fan of the whole girl dinner trend. So I love having lots of little things, and none of them are actually a true meal, but together they kind of make sense. So we've got homemade pita. We've got some leftover hot halloumi and honey sausage roll type things. We've got dates wrapped in bacon. We've got a little bit of a mixed salad that will be stuffed into the pita. And we've got some homemade dates and curry dip, which is my mom's recipe, and oh, it is so good. So this, once I open it, the entire room will smell like garlic. It's fine, it will disinfect any mold, insects or anything else that is alive in this room. But yeah, I'll have my quick lunch and then we will get to sewing. So let's continue. The bodice is assembled, and now we're going to try this on. All of the side seams and the shoulder seams haven't been finished yet. I just sewed them together so that if something needs changing, I can quite easily do it. Yeah, so let's see and hope that this does not look horrendous. Okay, so it's not terrible. It's not great. So it is definitely too big everywhere. And also way too long, even though I have a quite low waist, but I think it needs to have like an entire inch off the bottom, which the bust line is kind of fine, I guess. Also, as you can see, I didn't match up the pattern very well here. I was aiming to match it up as I was cutting it, but then after sewing it didn't really work out anymore, but well. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take an inch off everything, because then I will be able to fit it a bit better to actually see how much smaller it needs to be at my waist, because currently it just sits on my hips rather than on my waist. I am just going to continue assembling the skirt and putting the pockets in, but it's actually getting so unbearably hot here next to the window. I've got the curtains closed everywhere else in the flat, but I just left them open here so we'd have a little bit of daylight to film in, but I can't. So I'm just gonna close the curtains because it's just too hot and hope that it won't like continue heating up because I'm really tired and it's really hot. I hate summer. In bright news, it's only another 2 months or so until pumpkin spice season. So we just gotta hold on to that. But yeah, so I will continue the skirt in darkness and then I will check in with you guys at a later point. Little end of day wrap up. Here's what I've done. I have added the skirt to the bodice. I've got the pockets in the side, and as you can not really tell, maybe I lift it up. So the stripes are going down in the front, and I've done the same to the back, so that, yeah, I thought that was a little bit more, oh god, my brain really isn't working, harmonic. That's what I'm trying to say. But this bit here is a mess. So I didn't cut the sailor collar to go low enough. It should have really gone up to here. So this bit here just looks a little bit weird. And I'm still not really sure what to do with it, because if I maybe put like another button, this would also mess everything up. So I don't know, but it's also very low cut, like really, really, really crazy low cut. So again, something that I have to think about. I was maybe thinking, got this little lace left over here, and I thought to kind of like play a little bit more on the Edwardian side here, having like a little underlayer perhaps. So I just maybe make this lace kind of like sew it together so that it covers kind of like a little bit more, maybe up to here. So I don't know, I'll think about it the next time I sew. And the other thing is I made the sleeves a little bit too long, so they are actually this long. And it kind of goes a little bit past the elbow and doesn't look that nice. So I've just rolled them up for now, but I think that makes it a little bit busy again, because now you see the rolled up inner side, which is lighter than the rest of the color. So that adds like a little bit more detail to it that I don't like as much. So I think I'll just cut it off here and just add a new white cuff to it. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Still a lot of work. I've added all the buttons, and I really feel like the button detail is quite cute. Before, even though like there was a lot going on, but the buttons kind of give it its focal point, which makes it nicer. But I don't know guys. I feel like when I put it on, I'm kind of like hating it but also loving it, and I can't really decide what to do. So in case you're wondering why the camera's moving, the cat is trying to cuddle with the microphone cable. But yes, I cannot make up my mind whether I love it or hate it. So I guess we'll just continue and make up our minds. I think if I do something to this corner here, maybe I'll add some more lace or something to cover it up a little bit. It's also just because I've got the facing, which ends around here, and then, oh, I didn't mention this. I actually finished all the front because I felt like if I just folded it once and then put the buttons in, it wouldn't have enough strength. So I used a cotton tape, the type that I normally use for my waistbands in my corsets, and just used that as a type of bias binding. And that gives the entire button front strength so that it doesn't kind of bulge or anything. So right here where the waist is, there is this little tie. That's just a little lace detail. So I thought it looked cute. But to give it more strength, because I thought that would be a focal point, and I didn't want to put a button right on it because I felt like that would be too many layers for the button to go through. So there is a little hook and eye underneath, like one of the bigger ones, not the blouse sized ones, but I don't know if you can see this from a distance, but just to make sure that it doesn't bulge at this point when I put a lot of pressure on it. So I did fit it to my natural body shape, so when I wear a corset I'm going to be a little bit smaller, but I don't know, I just like dresses to in theory also fit me if I wasn't wearing a corset. So I always make everything nowadays in a way where I kind of like can just tighten it a bit, and then it sits right for a corset. But if I for some reason had to take it off, that would be fine as well. But yeah, I like it from the back a lot, but I'm not sure I love it from the front. I think this is kind of like where I'm at currently. But yeah, I'm already feeling the heat coming in here again, so I think Gonna close the curtains again. I'm gonna call it a day, do a little bit more hand stitching because all the facing needs to be stitched down. I'll let the hem hang out overnight and then I'll shorten it. It is quite long currently, so I think I might want it a little bit shorter to be a bit more 1940s, because I feel like circle skirts can get a little bit long sometimes and then not look as nice. Yeah. I guess I'll just have to make up my mind when it's not 30 degrees and I am not tired. We'll continue on a different day. See you later. Hello. It is still really warm, but we're back. We just have to do the hem and then the dress will be finished. I spent some more time yesterday futzing about with everything because I feel like I'm still not entirely convinced. I don't know what it is, because I feel like when I try it on, I actually like it, but also I don't think it's going to be a dress I wear a lot. But I've just been like trying to change some things and trial different things, and I tried it on this morning and showed it to Jack, and he actually had a really great suggestion, because where the sailor collar opens, it kind of looks a little bit awkward. So he said, kind of like looking at reference images, most sailor dresses have either like the little tie or the bow there. And I thought, you know, the bow would actually, if it was like a really big bow, it could look really cute. So I've ordered some ribbon. That is hopefully a nice color match, and then yeah, I'll just continue. So currently the only thing that needs to be done now is hemming the skirt, and then I need to make this little underlayer. When I tried it on earlier, I actually had my little chemise underneath, and that looked quite cute, but because the chemise also has buttons here, it also gets quite busy. So I don't know, I'm trying to not make it more busy than it already is. We'll just continue, and I think, yeah, once we get to the end of this, I'll have you decide whether you think this is something that still works for me, or whether the mission of making this year's sailor dress has failed again. It is a curse, I'm telling you. And you hear jingling in the back. So see, this is the kind of bow I'm talking about. Tilly, you're looking beautiful. Hem making, underlayer making, and then we'll be done. So let's get going. The dress is almost finished. I still have to do some hand sewing, which I'm going to do off camera, which includes stitching down the facing and also attaching this little underlayer to the main dress so that it all kind of like stays together rather than having like 2 layers of it. I'm gonna stitch it close to one side, and the other side I'm gonna attach pressy buttons, so because it doesn't actually need to hold anything, it's just there to kind of like cover the chest because it is very, very low cut. I'm gonna stitch down the belt in some places, and I put the bow here, which is just a placeholder because I felt like this is actually quite a nice color match, but I wanted the bow to be much bigger, so I've ordered a new ribbon. And I think with that, the dress is done. So I'm just going to keep working on it a little bit. But you guys will see me in the reveal in just a moment. Yeah, let's decide whether we love this or hate this, or whether we love it but just not on me. We'll see. So with that, I'll take you to the reveal. It's done. So what do we think? Did we break the curse? I think we didn't. Because the thing is, I actually think this is super cute. Every time I put it on, I feel like this is just, I don't know, I'd love to take pictures in this. I think it's super adorable. But am I going to wear this to work? No. And that's the problem. I feel like I just cannot justify keeping things that I'm not going to wear on a daily basis, especially after my most recent closet purge. Autumn things are already coming in that brands are sending me, so my closet is already really full again. And I just don't have the space to keep things I don't wear, which is annoying because I have so many dresses that I love, but just because I don't wear them, I then have to part with them because I can't justify to keep them, which makes me really sad. So with this one, I think it's gonna be the same. I don't think I'm going to wear this very often, and you know how I normally every once in a while I just grab all the things I haven't worn and then I put them on my Depop for very little money, and people often get a little bit frustrated because things come up and they sell actually really quickly because, like I said, I sell them for way below what they're worth. I was thinking that maybe if I was to sell this, for example, because I've not worn it, I've just, you know, put it on for the reveal shooting. So I'm not gonna hold on for this for like another year to wear it another 2 times and then sell it as secondhand. Instead, what I'm gonna do, which is something that a colleague actually suggested, I'm gonna put it on eBay instead, because people seem to be getting frustrated because things sell out so quickly. So instead of just putting them on Depop and the first one gets it, I'll just put it on eBay for people to bid. But also, like I said, I always really undercharge myself, even though I tell you guys on here how much things cost. But just because I know how much things cost doesn't mean that's actually what I'm charging. So I think if I put this on Depop, I would list it for probably around 80 to 100. But I've just had a little calculation. So this fabric was around £30. The linen for the collar and for the underlayer was around 15, and then the bow was another 5. So just the fabric alone would be £50. And then my labor, obviously, even more expensive. So I spent a total of 8 hours making this because it was quite fiddly with all the little bits coming together. And that would be around £120 if I charged myself £15 an hour. So we're speaking about a total of like £170. And I'd feel bad putting it up for £170 on Depop, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm just always so critical about my own work, but I guess people are paying for my design rather than for this being, I don't know, the perfect dress. So what will happen is it will go on eBay, and then people can bid whatever they think it's worth, and I can kind of like see whether I get a realistic amount to actually cover my costs, or whether, you know, no one's gonna bid at all. We'll see. But that leaves me with another problem. I still don't have a sailor dress because the curse just continues and it's so annoying. So I think what's gonna happen next is I'm gonna make Tilly, do you mind? So what's happening next is I'm going to make another sailor dress, because I think if I make 2 in a year, maybe that will break the curse. Maybe only the first sailor dress is one that I'm not gonna keep, and the second one is going to be the magical, I don't know. I've already started. It's right next to me. So in the next video, I will show you my new design for the second sailor dress of the year. So I will call it part 2 of this video. And we will think about, you know, how we can make a sailor dress that is not a costume. Because when I told the same colleague who was suggesting the whole eBay thing to me about wanting to make a sailor dress, but I felt like the one I made was too costumey, he was like, you do realize it is a costume. Like, it will always be costume, and I'm adamant there is a way of making a sailor dress that is not going to feel like a costume. So that's what we'll try next week. So hopefully I'll see you in my next video. If you like this, I don't know, like and subscribe, support me. Check out the listing of this dress. Maybe you want to be the owner of this beautiful dress and wear it for costume parties. But that's it for this week. So I'll hopefully see you in my next video.